What's a square root? This is not a square root. I'm talking more like this, what SpongeBob's thinking about. What's that kind of square? We know the square root of 25, 4, and 100. The square root of 25 is 5, the square root of 4 is 2, the square root of 100 is 10. But what about when you're given something like the square root of 72? A non-perfect square, and you don't have a calculator. What number times itself equals 72? Is there a way to write this in a more simplified way? What we're going to do is we're going to use a familiar tool, the factor tree, to simplify square roots. So let's just recap. A factor tree is when you take something, a bigger number like 180, and you break it into its prime factors like 3, 2, 3, 5, and 2. If you multiplied those all together, you'd get 180. How you break it up is up to you. You could also look at 24. That's 4 times 6, not prime numbers, so break them down further to 2 and 2, 3 and 2. So 24 is 2 to the third power times 3 if you broke it down. You can even figure out what the number is. If I'm given the prime factors, I could multiply up to figure out what that original problem was. But that brings us back to our original question. SpongeBob wanted to know, what's a square root? Well, if SpongeBob's thinking about a number like 9, let's say, we know what the square root of 9 is. It's 3, right? Well, the square root is an operator that looks for pairs of factors, groups of 2. So if I break up 9 into its prime factors, 3 times 3, I find a pair. There's my answer. So now, suppose he's thinking about a different number. Let's look at 72 now. SpongeBob's thinking about the square root of 72. We're going to take the number 72 and break it into its prime factors. Could break it into 36 and 2, but the first thing that comes to my mind is 8 and 9 actually. I consider those prime numbers. I know that 8 can be broken up further, so can 9. I've got a few prime numbers. I need 2 more. There they are. So that means that 72 is the product of 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 2. So now, if I'm looking at the square root of, remember this is SpongeBob, he's thinking of the number 72. So the square root of 72, if I broke it into its prime factors, is 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 times 3. Now remember, we said that the square root is an operator that looks for pairs. So let's find the pairs. There's one grouping of 2, a pair of 2's, and there's a pair of 3. Remember, the square root of 9 was 3 because there were 2 3's in there, one pair. That means that my 2 and my 3 are both leaving the square root, leaving that poor 2 inside. That leaves us with 6 square root 2. That would be our simplified form of the square root of 72. Now it's your turn, not SpongeBob's. Write this down. Find the square root of 24. Good luck.